America's game of the week, the San Francisco 49ers against the Philadelphia Eagles. For the first time in, I believe, NFL history, the Eagles are home underdogs while having a healthy quarterback and have a 10-1 record. Kyle Shanahan was asked about that, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I don't really know how that stuff works, so I don't really know why. It is random.
That's a good answer.
So Kyle Shanahan has no idea why.
I have no idea why.
No idea why. So I want to know.
I'm not sure I do either.
Should the Eagles actually, be home underdogs in this game against the 49ers?
No. I'm picking them to win. I think that home crowd in Philadelphia, they're wild. And I think that helps the Eagles a lot. And I think the 49ers, who lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship Game last year because Brock Purdy got hurt, this is be an interesting game to watch for Purdy in there for the whole game, whether the 49ers can beat them. But I like the Eagles at home. I think they're a savvy team. They come back from being behind in the fourth quarter several times now against very good teams and found ways to win. They find a way to win. They've only lost one game this season.
To the Jets.
I think that to the Jets, which is crazy. I mean, they weren't ready to play. They just figured we're just going to go in there and roll over the Jets, and it didn't happen. But so I'm looking forward to the game. I think it will be very close, and I'm looking for the Eagles to pull it out.
Well, there's a little bit stat-wise, I'm nervous because what the 49ers are bad at, the Eagles and especially Jalen Hurts are great at. Look at this number here. In the second half, when trailing or tied, Brock Purdy is one of the worst quarterbacks in that scenario. Jalen Hurts, you take a look at the numbers there. He's phenomenal.
It's amazing.
So Brock Purdy, completion percentage, 58.2, 2 touchdowns, 5 picks, a 60.8 passer rating. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, 68% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, no picks, 140 passer rating. He's absolutely insane. However, this is where I'm loving the 49ers. Because take a look at this. We brought this up on Tuesday. The Philadelphia Eagles defense so far this season has not been great. And the 49ers play the best with the lead. They play terrible when trailing. And guess what? Opponent points per game, 22.4. That ranks 20th in the NFL. Opponent pass yards per game, 255.7. That's 29th. Opponent touchdown to interceptions, 23-6. That's 30th in the league. And opponent third down percentage, 45.5%. That's 30th in the league. So what I would do if I'm the 49ers, if you win the toss, take the ball. Do not defer. Because what that means is, if it's either tied or you're trailing entering that second half, the game is in Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts' hands, and stat-wise, you're screwed. Because Jalen Hurts is going to play much better than he does in the first half. We just take a look at it. He ran it once, I think, against the Bills in that first half. I think he ran it 10 times in the second half. So the Eagles rely much more on him, and he's able to make those big-time plays. So if I'm the 49ers, and I think there's a stat out there when down 8 or more, or 8 or under, Kyle Shanahan in the fourth quarter is like 0-37. It's something along the lines of that. So even in the fourth quarter, you better hope you have a lead. Because we've seen so far this season, now context-wise, you could say injuries, the 49ers are terrible. They're absolutely terrible in the fourth quarter when they're trailing or tied. And that's where I'm a little bit scared.
Is that even with when they're healthy?
Well,
they don't.
We saw that for 3 games.
It doesn't happen to them when they're healthy.
Right. So we saw
it's
it for
in those
3
games when they had the injuries. So it's
and it was
hard
against
to
the
say.
Browns. It was against the Vikings, and I'm forgetting that third team. I'll bring it up real quick, but that's what I'm most nervous. That's what I'm most nervous about. And that third team, by the way, was the Cincinnati Bengals, right, where Joe Burrow cooked that defense. So I'm a little bit nervous here. However, I am picking the 49ers because of the fact that they're healthy, that overall they are a very, very dominant team. The front seven. We talk about, who has the better team, and player-wise, you can go down the list of, better player by better player. And generally, if you think about it, if you do a top 10 of the best players, interchange of the team, so Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy could still be on the list, that generally, determines the outcome of who's the better team and who will most likely win. This front seven for the 49ers, there is one question mark, but because there's 6 guys on the front seven that are so great, that one question mark isn't as big. So the front seven, Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Hargrave, Nick Bosa, Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and then Oren Burks. The front seven, there's one maybe missing there. And because your defense was a little bit lackluster when they weren't even healthy, having Chase Young there as well, and he's having a comeback year here, and then having Hargrave and Armstead and Bosa, and then Greenlaw and Warner and Burks as your linebackers, you can't miss. You got Ward as a defensive back. I wish Hufunga was out there. He's out for the year. So the fronts, and I understand, Jalen Carter, I had him as my defensive rookie of the year. We talked about this. So it's not that I'm bringing down the Eagles. I'm raising up. You could do both things could happen at once.
The 49ers have a better defense.
You
than
could
the Eagles.
raise a team without dropping another one. You could praise a team without smashing the other. I understand. The Eagles are 10-1 for a reason. They honestly, if you think about it, probably should be 11-0 if it weren't for the Jets.
It's amazing they lost to the Jets.
Jalen Hurts had a horrible game in that. Yeah, it was bad. However, I just think the 49ers are healthy. And recent memory, I could be completely wrong, but I really feel if the team is healthy top to bottom, I'm like 100% sure in the regular season, and maybe because Purdy got hurt against the Eagles in the playoff game, I think Purdy's undefeated.
Yeah.
I think this team is undefeated.
I think the 49ers have a little extra oomph in this game because they lost to them in the NFC Champions. It's a rematch, yeah.
Well, if we take a look at the rematches, if we take a look at it, it was the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. The loser of the Super Bowl won in the regular season. So the Eagles and the 49ers, they played the NFC Championship game. Eagles won in the championship game. It's 49ers time to shine.
And the Eagles played that game at home, right? That game was at home last year.
Yeah.
So here we are again. Same setup.
Yeah. So I'm picking the 49ers. Do I love the pick? Kind of, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of, because this team is healthy, top to bottom. It's better. If the main core people, Debo, Kittle, CMC, which I doubt CMC, but Trent Williams, if any one of those players gets banged up or out for the game, I'm going to be screwed because the depth of the 49ers is a massive. They're not a deep team. They're a very, very top-heavy team.
It's surprising the Eagles have done so well and only lost one game when the defense is really
it's not good.
It's ranked pretty low in some categories.
They're 19th in total defense.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the 49ers are 3rd in total offense and 5th in total defense. They've given up the fewest points so far this season.
The Eagles have that intangible something that they know how to win. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. They've got an intangible, Nate. They've come back. They've been behind. I think it's Jalen Hurts. There's been a lot of adversity. They almost lost to the Commanders.
Yeah.
Right? The Commanders
Twice.
Came out. They had a really good game. The Eagles still found a way to win. So
I mean, absolutely.
I think they're going to do that again on Sunday, but we'll see. I might be wrong.
Well, think about this. They almost lost to the Commanders twice. They were able to pull out both those wins. Then they play right now in the past 5 games. The Dolphins, Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, and then you go up against the 49ers, the Cowboys. You're playing 7 straight very tough games. And I'll make a prediction right now because I got ripped in the fact that we didn't give, or at least I didn't give the Eagles any respect. Meanwhile, I picked them to win the Super Bowl last year and make the NFC Championship game, at least the NFC Championship game next year. I'll say this right now. If the Eagles somehow go 7-0, so if they win the next 2 games against the 49ers and the Cowboys, I'll make a prediction in Week 13. They're winning the Super Bowl. Because they're playing the toughest NFC and some of the toughest AFC teams. And they're winning.
Yeah. So, as I say, they find a way to win.
If they could pull that out, I would maybe bench the rest of my offense and say, we just played 7 really tough games. Rest. Get healthy. Because you need to play them again in the NFC playoff games. And then you need to play the best AFC team, which could be the Chiefs, it could be the Dolphins, it could be the Bills. Maybe. I have no idea. It could be any one of these teams. So they may rest up the next 2 weeks, or the last 2 weeks of the season. You play the Cardinals and the Giants. You may rest up the last 3 weeks. You're playing the Giants, Cardinals, Giants. But this team, if they go 7-0, they're winning the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. Since I didn't give them enough respect, how about that? And it's not the fact that I got called out saying that I don't give them any respect. It's just the fact that they'd beat the Dolphins, who have the best offense, the Commanders, who have given them pause, and they had a pretty decent pass rush at the time. Cowboys, phenomenal defense. Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes. And then the Bills, great defense, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Then you go up against the 49ers, who are probably the best roster in the NFL when healthy. And then the Cowboys again with the defense.
Let me ask you this.
And that's at Dallas.
If the 49ers beat the Eagles, do you think the 49ers are your Super Bowl team?
I would want to see the rematch because then they'd be 1-1.
Yeah.
I'd want to see the rematch.
So that will be the NFC Championship
game probably.
Yeah.
And then we may be here. It depends. How did the Eagles get to the NFC Championship game? How did the 49ers get to the NFC Championship game? And that'll sort of determine what team I'll pick at that time. So it's all contextual for me. It's all contextual. I don't just go off the dome. You look at it. You look at the scenario. The fact that they beat the Bills was impressive. Now, once again, ball goes right, dude goes left. That's unfortunate for the Bills.
Well,
however, a win is a win.
That's coaching.
That's rough. But
that's a mental error. That was a mental error.
Can't rip on them too much. The Eagles did get the win in that game, but it is
59-yard field goal.
Incredible.
Kicking is really important when you get in the playoffs. Really good special teams and great kicking game. The Eagles have that.
Absolutely. Jake Elliott, tremendous.
And I'm not so sure about the 49ers kicking
Jake Moody,
game.
you got to be a little bit worried about him.
Worried about him.
Speaking about kicking, Aubrey, Dallas Cowboys rookie kicker, I believe. The dude is 100% everywhere. He hasn't missed a field goal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Guy's crazy. Guy's insane. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.